Today we're diving into the mysterious darkness and painting my Kingdom Death miniatures. Welcome back to Warforged Miniatures. Today we're painting my Kingdom Death monster miniatures. The first starting survivors was what I was trying to paint this week. And so I'm going to walk you through the process of what I did for that. If you've been following along for my 75 hard, which I started last week, it's been going pretty well, and you have probably seen me talk about these miniatures a little bit throughout the week, but this is going to be a full breakdown of what I did and painted and how I painted these miniatures and a final reveal at the end. Oh, and one more thing. I just want to remind everybody that the competition for the Strock giveaway is still going on. So make sure to DM me on Instagram, just a picture of your most recent or best miniature. And that's still up for grabs. I'm going to just keep it going until I get a decent amount of responses, and then I'll do some kind of judging scenario. So I just want to keep that in mind. Remind you guys, if you haven't done that already, go and hit me up on Instagram so you can win a dragon. Back to the video. I started painting the miniatures by starting with the skin. I wanted to get the most intimidating, biggest part out of the way first, so that's what I started with. My idea also was to try something different here. Again, because I'm trying to learn and get better, I wanted to try a little bit of something different. I do have a skin tone recipe in my head that I've used in the past, so I used that for two of the miniatures, but I didn't want them all to have the exact skin tone, so I tried something different with the other two. For the first two, I used the dark flesh tone from Vallejo as the base shadow color. But with the other two, I tried Evil Red, which was a little more purple than I wanted in the end. But you'll see as I go through here, they kind of end up looking a little vampire-y, which isn't totally a bad thing because Kingdom Death monsters anime-inspired thing, so having like really pale people and different kind of hair colors and skin tones isn't the weirdest thing. It kind of fits in the genre. So I spent a good amount of time, probably the most amount of time on the skin for all of these guys, just painting how I would paint anything else, building shadows and volumes and building the shadow and light volume, just like I've learned in all of the classes that I've taken and just following along on tutorials. Taken a lot of inspiration from my recent class with Eric Swinson, which if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check that out. I spent a lot of time blending the colors together to try to get a smooth shading on all of the miniatures, which has led me into what I wanted to talk about a little bit here, which is you really have to make a decision on how far you want to push a miniature. Because after spending hours on the skin, I realized I could keep going and get it smoother and better blended. But at the same time, I'm not using these miniatures for any kind of competition. I just want to play the game, and I want to have these painted pretty nicely, but I don't need them to be perfect. So at one point, I just had to decide to stop and move on to something else. I do like the way the skin came out for the most part. I think I did a pretty good job. One thing I did learn is that I have a habit to keep the shadows a little too dark and not push the light up enough. So on some of them, you can see the shadows are probably a little too dark and I could have lightened everything up a bit. But I do like this dramatic contrast style that it turned out to be. After I finished painting the skin, I moved on to the cloak. In the lore, they're all wearing white cloaks, so I wanted to keep that going. But I didn't want the white to be super overpowering, so I used Deck 10 from Vallejo, so it's like a beige, but it looks white compared to everything else. And in the shadows, I used a dark blue grayish, just to add some color into the shadow so it's not just gray or black. Pretty happy with how the cloth came out. I then did the hair on everybody, painting them all a little bit differently. I did two of the miniatures with black hair and using a blue to highlight. And then I did one with brown hair and one with a little bit more of a blonde hair, just to try new things. After finishing the hair, I painted the stone face shards in all of their hands. That's their starting weapon, which I used a charcoal gray and then a stone gray to build up the highlight on. And then it was time to move on to the lantern. So this was the part I was most excited for, and I really wanted to try a little bit of an OSL effect on it. So I painted this in a way that I saw Eric Swinson again paint. He painted some Kingdom Death Monster miniatures in the past, so I did it in the way that he did. And painting the top and the bottom of it black, the middle where the glow is all white, and then from the center out kind of fading from white to an orange color. So using yellow and oranges to build up a glow effect, and then using a dark burnt red on the inside like metal parts because it makes it look like it's glowing. I was really happy with the way that the lanterns turned out. Probably my favorite part. And I did try some OSL effects on all of the miniatures, so you can let me know how that turned out. I think overall I'm pretty happy with the miniatures. So I forgot to mention with the bases, all I did was paint them the same way I painted the shards in their hand, dark charcoal, and then a stone shading over top, or dry brushing over top, just because they're supposed to be stone faces, so just keeping them stone. I'm definitely not the fastest painter in the world, and that's definitely something I'm going to continue to work on and get better at. But here's a little reveal, and let me know what you think. So let me know down below if you think those miniatures turned out all right, if the OSL looks good. I think that this was my first week of doing the 75 hard for hobbying, painted every single day, or built miniatures every single day. So I did hobby every single day. Total, all of these miniatures probably took me 7 or 8 hours, maybe, give or take, which is not that bad, but it could definitely have gone faster. I could spend more time on them. Like I said, I definitely could blend the skin better and take more time to get the details better, but I think that they came out pretty good and definitely something I'll be happy with painting or happy with playing with. I'd say overall it was a pretty successful week, and I'm excited to see where the rest of the 75 hard takes me. I do like doing new things, like trying new skin colors and trying new stuff. I feel like I'm learning every single time, which is what I really want to try and do. Get better and continue to get better so that I don't embarrass myself at Golden Demon. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos and for following along. It's been really cool to see how much support I've been getting, even in the 75 hard over the last 7 days. It's been pretty cool. So thank you all for that. Make sure, if you aren't subscribed already, to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and the bell so you're notified when new stuff comes out. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.